Right, this is the pause solenoid and the selenium rectifier I was a bit bothered about in case that had degraded. If it's a high voltage one, it could obviously cause severe problems if that started to short out. Now, having traced the circuit from the plug that connects to the main chassis, it's not what's shown in any way on that other schematic I've got, and that's for a single voltage unit. This is a selectable voltage chassis. It's got a jumper in it to select between 110 or 220 volts, and the connector for the motor there runs entirely from, find somewhere to balance it without resting on the top of the valves, runs entirely from the transformer windings. That pin connects back to the neutral connection from the power connector, and one of the transformer pins is neutral and transformer. This one comes directly from that transformer tap. That one goes to the socket for the start-stop foot pedal if it's used, which has a bypass switch for use without the foot pedal, and then through either of those it connects back to the centre tag on the transformer there. So everything's running at a fixed voltage from the transformer. I was a bit puzzled about that one, that corner. I was expecting that to be another power wire or back to the transformer or earth or something, but in fact it connects to the top of the, if you can just see under that resistor, it connects to the clockwise end of the volume control. I thought, now what on earth's that for? I wonder if it could have been a miswire almost, if it's supposed to be a ground connection to the other end where it is grounded. But then I realised the rectifier only has one power wire in, the other side goes through the chassis connection. So there's no plug connector for that, it just works through the fact that it's bolted through to the electrical chassis. The other solenoid, apparent solenoid wire, this other cotton coloured wire down here, is on a screw that's on a bit of insulation on the back of the solenoid. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit more on that. It's on a solder tag with an insulator between that and the metal frame that the solenoid bolts to. And it's a switch, effectively. Looks like the whole plunger assembly that the solenoid moves is insulated, and when the solenoid pulls in and hits its bottom stop, that's supposed to form a circuit between the solenoid case that's insulated from the chassis, because there's a stop pin in the bottom of that at the end of the armature, and the solenoid arm that's connected to the rest of the metalwork. The resistance is a bit uneven at the moment, obviously because it's not being used, and it's possibly not even a proper contact type material, it could just be steel. But it does try and work. Earth one side of the meter and put that on the screw terminal. There's a bit of leakage there. Oops, missed. It's dropped off. Bit of leakage. Can I get to it so we can see the units? There. Bit of leakage. It's meg ohms. As I say, it's jumping about a bit of that, but it's going down to single ohms when the solenoid's in. So what happens is when you put it on pause, it directly shorts out the volume control to kill any audio in or out. Again, design details are amazing. The other thing is the solenoid resistance is only about 15 ohms, So that means it must work on a very low voltage, or else it'd burn out very quickly. You know, at 15 volts it'd be drawing 1 amp and dissipating 15 watts of heat, same as a small soldering iron. So I can't see it running even that. It may run off 6 volts, and it might be a spare 6 volt filament winding on the transformer even that it runs from. Though there will be a bit of voltage drop through the rectifier. So I'm going to put the chassis back in and try powering everything up fully. Just zoom back out if I can. Phone's being awkward. Come on. No. Oh, there we go. So flip it over. Move the box. I was balancing it on to get the light right. And find these screws and put the chassis back in. I'll put that lid down. It slides. It's so polished and curved edge. It doesn't bounce very well. Okay, there's a box of screws. Suitable screwdriver. Balance that somewhere. The chassis's got some nice big thread inserts in it, so it's not just going to aluminium to hold it. Plugs out of the way for a minute. Try to feed this back in. Some of the valves have got a hook through the centre rail that supports the underside cover. Tighten that enough so it shapeproofs down to grip and hold it. That's better. Okay, that's tightened back in. And to put the lid back on so I can turn this over without pressing on the arm. And refit the connectors on the side. Check this the light's reasonable. That's the motor and solenoid, which latch into that one, and that's the record playback head in the end of the arm, which has a bit of screen cable, and that goes into a little tip-in socket in the chassis under there. If I can get the thing in, it's behind that centre valve. I don't want to take the valve out of the front of it. So I'll just fiddle it into place. Push with the screwdriver, seat it. It's quite stiff. That's it. Okay, that's fully reassembled electrically and functionally. Other than the connector and the turntable. So it should now run. Move that light a bit and get rid of some glare. Okay. Zoom out so you can see the whole thing, or enough of it. Power cable again. Now, I've not tried this connector through the case. I hope it fits. Looks like the latches. It doesn't. The latches on the original connectors were top to bottom. These are side to side. You see on that one, the latch positions. There are little slots at the top and bottom of each connector. The new connectors I've got have the latches on the side relative to the pins instead. I don't know if they will sneak down the sides. I'll try. Of course, I've been putting hands on everything except the microphone connector. Right, I might have to just take the latches off this. I'm not sure if they're supposed to sneak down the sides, because there is a gap. There is a slight gap down the sides of these. Maybe the chassis is just not perfectly aligned. Very, very stiff, but it looks like they could possibly go down the gaps out down the outside of the connector body and it under the chassis or case top. Just move those a fraction so it can. It's got a bit of play. See if it goes. No, it's too stiff. It's not enough gap. There's definitely a gap there, down the other side. And that top connector's got the notches at the top and bottom, even though they're over friction screws. It can't possibly have anything there. When I'm saying that, the brackets on these are underneath. I think this is supposed to be like this. It's just that the latches are a bit bigger, or maybe they're supposed to be the wire type, like on that connector underneath, rather than these heavier metal ones, these pressed steel ones. It's a bit better centred, I think, so let me try tying up again. Might have to file the latches down, so they're just fitting on spring pressure rather than actually clicking underneath. They don't want to go. No. Okay. I'll stop for a second. Adjusted with a big file. I've basically taken the little teeth, pressed teeth in the connector arms down near enough flush, and that allows it to fit. There's no positive latch, but it's still a very good friction fit because the arm's springing out against the inside of the casing hole. So that's okay to put power on it. Just to get a bit better illumination generally, without too much glare. That's not too bad. Okay. Oh, wouldn't hurt to put the control knobs back on it as well. It's easy to test if we can turn it on and off. Now that's the wrong one, that's record play. And that then is the volume pot. Okay. Plug that in. I'll unplug the solenoid. That's no longer needed. Oh, the motor's a bit stiff. That's what I've not done. I've not oiled the motor yet. I was going to do that. That's why it's put humming. It wasn't running. The motor is now running. Hold that against it. See, it's trying to go. Interestingly, the remote switch does nothing. By contact, there we go. The solenoid's working. There's a bad contact somewhere, or yeah, I think the switch is a bit tired. Yeah, the switch contacts are a bit tired. You see the pause solenoid is now time to operate. Well, try the turntable. I'm not going to fix this down because I'm going to have to take it off again to get the motor bearings. But put it on to see what happens. And it drives quite nicely. Yeah, there's a good grip. It looks like cleaning the roller was definitely the idler wheel. Idler roller, which we're going to call it. But definitely worthwhile because that's got a nice solid drive. Can't see that ever going to any problems. But if grip somewhere on that could fail. But that's looking again very promising. that switch is erratic. But when the switch works, the pause function works. It's lifting the idler wheel away from the motor shaft. Right, so the next thing then is try lubricating the motor. At one time I'd have used something like 3-in-1, a very light oil, but over the years I've found that that doesn't work very well. It works very, very well, should I say, immediately, but it seems to evaporate or disperse or something relatively quickly as well. I found the best thing now is a good quality motor oil, car engine oil. And I happen to have got some mobile ones, so I'll use a couple of drops of that on the bearings. The sintered bronze bushes with felt pads around them to retain oil. So hopefully I can get a few drops into the felt, which should give it a supply for a good few years. I've got to find some oil to do that, so that's it for now.